Well, a very good morning, and thank you for joining us on all of our streaming platforms. This is the Expert Alert. We are back. This was a segment that we ran a number of years ago, and it's back because we have experts in our Coast community that want to give you all the information that you need to help you make better informed decisions. Today, we are back with Travis Curtis from High Tide Plumbing. How are you?
Good, Chet. I'm good.
It is your second time here on the show.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So got some good feedback the first time?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. We're proud to be on here and proud to represent the coast.
Absolutely. So today, now that we've kind of introduced Travis and High Tide, we did this last month. We're back today. We're going to focus a little bit more on some subject matter expert content. Today, we're going to discuss filtration. Now, filtration can take a couple of forms. Tell us a high-level overview of what in your line of business, what filtration is.
Yep. So quick, short summary on filtration is we remove the toxins out of the water. Simple as that. Now there's several different types of filtration system depending on what's in your water, where you live, if you're on city water or well water. So an on-site consultation, we could determine that.
Sure. Now, okay, so immediately you said toxins, and it's like everything that we see and we hear, everything that we eat, everything that we drink, the air that we breathe, it's full of toxins, and that's just the nature of the world we live in today. So when you say toxins, tell us what you're talking about when you refer to specifically the water with toxins.
Yeah, so whenever it comes to toxins in your water, it's called DBPs, and that's disinfection byproducts. And so whenever chlorines are introduced into the water to eliminate the bacterial growth in the water as it sits in the pipe, there's certain contaminants that come from that disinfection process, and it's very important that you remove those. So
what we're not saying is that the people who are in charge of your water are doing the wrong things. They're willfully putting things in your water in the system that are knowingly hurting you. That's not what we're saying at all.
No, not at all. In fact, what we are saying for your local municipality water system companies is they're actually going a step further and doing what they're legally obligated to do to protect you, because if they didn't put that in the water, then bacteria is going to grow, and that'll be worse than what we're dealing with already.
Now, whenever we have water, we've seen this. It's happened recently. It happens during storms. It happens during things of this nature. When we have those rare occurrences where it freezes and the water lines break and there's a boil water in it, that's a pressure thing.
That is because whenever the water line breaks, dirt, mud, things like that are going to get into the water, and they just want you to boil the water to remove any kind of external bacteria or anything that may have entered the water system during the repair process.
Because there's no control over that when it breaks.
That's
what
correct.
Gets in. They want to make sure that you're safe.
That's correct.
Should we be boiling our water all the time?
No, you should not be boiling your water all the time. That's only to kill the bacteria. If they did not put the chlorines in your water to kill those bacteria, then I would tell you, yes, boil the water every time before you use it.
Now, if we were to, there's a whole testing procedure. It's not going to be so much as us dipping like a litmus paper into the water. It can be that easy, but you take it quite a few steps further. Yeah,
so in fact, if you're on a local municipality water system, you can actually go see the test results at the ewg.org/tapwater website. And that will tell you everything that's in your water. The local municipalities are required to test once per year and post those results on a public site.
So so how would you know, I guess the better question is, how would you know if you need a filtration system for your water?
Yeah, good question. So there's a few different types of filtration systems. If you need a sediment filter, one way to find out if that would be a good filter for your house would be just to simply look in the back of your toilet tanks. And you'll be surprised. A lot of times we'll see actual sand built up in the back of the toilet tanks. So a sediment filter would remove all those sediment out of the water. If you think you may possibly could use a filter to remove some of those contaminants that we're talking about, some of the things that you may see on the spouts of your sinks is that calcium buildup and the discoloration. Maybe on your shower head, some of the jets are starting to spray off sideways now or not spraying at all, and you see that white calcium buildup on your shower head. Those would be things to indicate that you do have some of those byproducts in your water that a filtration system could take care of.
And so where does that filtration system go? Because we're not talking about just getting a new shower head with a filter on it so the water doesn't hit you. We're talking about kind of a mainline thing.
Yes, absolutely. So there's two different ways that we can install one. We can put it in your garage or in a closet in the home somewhere. And what we'll do is we'll just connect to the water line before it comes into the home and just route the water lines to it. Or we have an out of sight, out of mind option where we can actually bury it in the yard where the water main comes into the home, and we'll put a nice decorative landscape and rock over it, and you'll never see it.
So how do these systems remove when your sediment's a little easier? So when let me go back. We'll get with how to remove that in just a second. When you look in the back of your toilet and it's like the inner walls of it are dark. What does that mean?
That means that you probably have a lot of iron in your water, and it's starting to discolor the porcelain of the tank. And a charcoal ho-home media filter would be a good answer for that issue.
So we'll go back to the other question. How are you removing? I know I have an individual, some friends that have a reverse osmosis filtration system set up on the main line coming into the house, and then there's a couple of other processes that they filter. Once you get through that, tell us about how you're actually, with the options that you have, with the filtration systems that you offer, how are you removing these toxins and these byproducts?
Absolutely. So what we install is a charcoal media filter, and so as that water flows through, it binds to the charcoal. The contaminants bind to the charcoal, and the water passes through, and it also goes through a deionizer, which neutralizes the water and brings it to a neutral state, which is a little bit different than the reverse osmosis filtration system that you just mentioned. Reverse osmosis, we typically would recommend that for a point of use for a single fixture because it has to keep a reservoir of treated water to be able to pull from. And it also does a backwash a lot more often, so you have a lot more wasted water with the reverse osmosis. So we highly recommend the media charcoal filters.
I worked on cruise ships that used that kind of desalinization, reverse osmosis desalinization, specifically for the water coming in, but we're talking about a much grander scale. What about the water? So for individuals who are like, I don't even drink the tap water that comes out of their fridge, I'm just getting bottled water. And listen, in many cases, having done my homework, in many cases, that bottled water is municipal water. Correct. Unfortunately, sadly enough, a lot of folks who are drinking that bottled water because it is a safer option are getting treated water.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention the microplastics when it comes to bottled water.
Yeah, then there's that.
Yep. So a lot of people do mention that to us. They say, we're not interested. We buy bottled water. We only drink bottled water. We only drink the water from the fridge. And that's great. The thing about it is, Chet, your skin's the largest organ on your body, and it absorbs the contaminants faster than you could physically drink them. So I understand people try to avoid it. They buy the bottled water, but then whenever they jump in the shower, they wash the vegetables, they cook the noodles.
It's all there.
Yeah, it's all there.
Tell us about, because when I was growing up, I lived in a home that had well water. So how does that differ? And I know if you've got well water, I know that it smells. That's what I can recall vividly.
Right.
You can't forget that it's like a boiled egg.
Yep.
Once you get that smell, once you have it in your home, you'll never forget it. How does that? What does that do? What is well water? Why is it giving us that?
Yeah, great question. Well water's giving you that from the sulfur in the water. Especially if you're only getting it on the cold side. If you're only smelling the smell from the hot side, it's probably because of your water heater. But if you're smelling it on the cold side as well, it's from sulfur in the water. And well water is a totally different process than municipal and city water. Well water, we would actually have to take a sample and we'll overnight it to a lab, and then they test it for the contaminants that are in that. Because in your well water, we're going to hope that there's not external contaminants getting in there from maybe your neighbors pouring oil in a hole in their yard that could contaminate your water. And that's why it's very important that you actually test the well water, because there's other factors that are outside of your control and that are not regulated that could be affecting your water. So that's a totally separate process. And the way that process looks, we overnight a sample to a lab. It takes about 2 to 3 days to do the test. They overnight the results back to us with the recommended filtration specifically for your well.
You take that smell out of it too?
Yes.
Wow.
Takes the smell and it'll be nice, pure, clean water. A lot of times with well water, people see the brown ring in the toilet, and it'll come up within 2 or 3 days from cleaning it. That's from the iron in the water.
So, what are the signs to know that you need a filter? So, what are, for those individuals who are watching that don't know, and that maybe what they're seeing they've just gotten used to seeing?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the toilet, the sediment in the toilet, or the ring around the bottom, or the calcified,
Yep.
sinks or showers. What are some of the other signs that people may be overlooking just because they've just gotten so used to seeing them?
Yeah, dry skin, having to buy multiple hair products such as special shampoos and conditioners because your hair just doesn't feel right. A lot of times it helps with when we talk to families that have children or the parents themselves have issues with eczema. It helps that. I personally installed one in my mother's house, and my grandmother lives with her, and it's helped with her stomach issues. So there's several health benefits to it.
That are just maybe underlying that you wouldn't even consider.
Correct.
You're taking something else to treat a symptom, and it could be what's coming in through the.
So a lot of times, Chet, we're exposed to something, it causes a problem, then we get medicated to fix that problem, and then there's another symptom from that. And it's like if we could just eliminate the initial issue, we could skip all those steps.
Absolutely.
And so that's the kind of the approach that we take.
So there's a lot of mature homes, older homes, in our area that have cast iron plumbing. I imagine this also becomes a problem.
For sure.
A major problem, because you're looking at cast iron. Some of these homes we're talking about homes built before the 80s, built in the 50s, 60s, 70s that have cast iron plumbing that is now maybe beginning to rust. It's causing a laundry list of issues. Is this a problem that you're seeing all the time, or even frequently?
So with the cast iron that you're referring to, I think what we're talking about is galvanized piping for water lines, and yes, that does start to rust. When we put the whole home filtration on, it's going to be before the water line comes into the home. So unfortunately, if you do have pre-existing galvanized water piping that's causing discoloration, and you are interested in a filtration system, a possible repipe in your home with new up-to-date PEX piping would be beneficial to you.
And PEX is one of those that when it gets cold, swells,
Correct.
Doesn't burst.
That's correct.
That makes life a lot easier.
Correct.
I lived in a home that was just sold. It's only 3 years old, and there was a main line you could cut off in the right on the exterior wall, one of the bedrooms, and the whole thing. But the whole house had PEX, and it made me feel a lot better whenever that freeze happened. Because I was at home when the big snowfall and made me feel a lot better.
Absolutely.
Not having to worry about that. So let's talk about
There's
also
value to peace of mind, right?
Exactly, because I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to leave it dripping.
That's right.
So let's talk about hard and soft water, because that's a big thing here. How does the filtration system adjust that?
So down here in the South, we really don't have real hard water. The water that is delivered to us from the municipalities is in fact very good quality compared to lots of other parts of the country. I know I was just in Phoenix earlier this week, and the water over there is terrible. When I was in the shower just trying to lather up the shampoo to wash my hair and lather up the wash rag, it was almost nearly impossible. And that's due to really hard water, and so they have to put salt softeners on those water systems to get that water back to a state to where you can actually use it and bathe with it. Down here, we're lucky, we're fortunate, the municipalities deliver us nice soft water to where we really don't have those issues. It's just about getting those byproducts out of there.
Did we leave anything out? I think we covered it.
I think we're good.
Listen, if you have questions, you see the information there on your screen. That is the address, High Tide Plumbing. Give them a call. We have their phone number right there, 228-365-3283, and then, of course, hightideplumbingllc.com. If you have any questions about the filtration, if you're getting to see if you're tired of putting stuff in the toilet because there's always a ring in it, and it happens more frequently than you like, you may need a filtration system. Like he said, in your sink, in your shower heads. If I know now that I'm gonna think about whenever I'm taking a shower, if it's starting to spray in a different direction, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Call High Tide.
Call High Tide Plumbing. You see the number there. Travis Curtis and his team will come on out. They'll observe what you're talking about. They'll make a recommendation, and they'll get you on the right path of getting that good, fresh, clean water. Again, because like he said, your skin is the largest organ, and it absorbs everything. Travis, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Chet. I appreciate you.
You guys, we'll see you next time on Expert Alert.